Today on the Topping Show, Bud Light cracks open more layoffs. UAW orders 8,700 members to walk off a Ford's truck assembly plant. Vivek take on English-only ballots goes viral. Supreme Court refuses to take on a case regarding the FDA's authority to ban flavored e-cigs. Elon Musk saved Amber Heard from being cut from the Aquaman sequel. Walgreens finally gets a new CEO. Washington Post announces more layoffs. Birkenstock IPO is off to a rough start. Some would say rougher than the styling of their shoes. And Family Dollar issues thousands of product recalls. All that much more on The Topping Show. Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of Topping Show is sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you reach the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of October, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Now, going over to the business part of the podcast, you have Walgreens finally getting a new CEO. Now, specifically, the company has appointed Tim Whitworth to become the new CEO as they try to focus on, quote, customer-centric healthcare. Now, the previous CEO helped drive the company well into the ground with their stock now at a 5-year low at about 69%. So about 70% of the company's value just vanished thanks to previous leadership. So thankfully, in terms of his previous experience, he has a much more proven track record than his predecessor. And he actually has a track record of being successful in the healthcare industries. He was previously one of the, I believe, the executives at Cigna, some of the largest healthcare outlets. So it'll be interesting to see a lot of these healthcare companies, and specifically you have your Walgreens, CVS, a lot of them were artificially boosted in terms of results when you have the whole pandemic and you had the subsidies from the government and taxpayers, and a lot of them were getting a pretty penny for these mandated vaccines. So it will be interesting to see what's the next step of the business as they try to provide more services and provide more value to the clients. And perhaps they can finally figure out how to, quickly fill scripts. I think that's half the battle for a lot of people when it comes to frustration with these types of places. Let me know in the comments. It looks like the stock market is already appreciating the new CEO. The stock jumped up a little bit, about 5 to 8%, just on the news that they're getting a new CEO and that he will be joining. So it'll be interesting to see, but here's the long-term outlook of Walgreens. They are historically one of the most successful companies in terms of kind of the books I've read about business throughout the years. One of my favorite ones is actually From Good to Great. And I believe I have that, by Jim Collins on my shelf. And it's one of those situations where they talk about, some of these businesses that, a lot of them will grow over time. And they have consistent growth trends. But some really buck the trend, pun moderately intended, where they'll actually perform exponentially better than the market and their competition. And Walgreens is one of those companies, I believe. So they've fallen far from what they used to be. And the real question is, can they make a comeback? It'll be interesting to see, but as I always say, time shall tell. Thank you again for taking the time to tune in today. Cannot thank you enough. Trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of October, so if you can click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Any suggestions to make the show better are always welcome to the comments section. I might take a day or two to get to them depending on my work schedule, but I always try to do my best to address all the comments. I appreciate the critique to make the show better. Also, lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe. Fight the good fight.